Blessed be God forever and mabuhay. A pleasant day to each and everyone. My name is Claire Ayong, and today I will be discussing one of the most important systems in the human body, the reproductive system. This system plays a vital role in the human growth, development, and the continuation of life. So it is responsible for producing reproductive cells, regulating hormones, and supporting fetal development. So in this report, we will explore the male reproductive system, the female reproductive system, how hormones control this system, and the stages of fetal development. But before we dive into our topic, let's test your knowledge with a quick activity called Reveal Me. You will see words in a grid with missing letters. To reveal the correct terms, replace the numbers with the correct vowels. Now, let's decode the words. So let's start with the number 1. It is the organ used for urination and sexual intercourse. So if your answer is penis, then you're correct. It is the channel that carries the sperm to the outside of the body through the penis. So let's reveal the answer. So if your answer is urethra, then you are correct. Next. It is a loose bag of skin that hangs outside the body, behind the penis. So let's reveal the answer. If your answer is scrotum, then you are safe, you are correct. Then the next one is, it is a thick-walled tube joined to the epididymis. So let's reveal the answer. If your answer is vas deferens, you are correct. Then the last one, the tissue, glands, and organs involved in producing offspring or children. So this one is easy. So if your answer is reproductive system, then you are correct. So the words that you revealed are all connected to our topic today, which is the reproductive system. So let us now know what is our objective for today's discussion. So by the end of this report, you will be able to identify the parts and functions of the male and female reproductive system, explain the role of hormones in regulating reproductive processes, describe the stages of fetal development, and understand the importance of reproductive in the human life. What is reproduction? So reproduction, it is the process by which our genetic material is passed on from one generation to the next generation. This maintains continuation of the species. It involves passing of genetic material from parent cells to daughter cells. So reproduction is how genetic material is passed from one generation to the next, which keeps the species alive. So reproduction is the process by which living things produce offsprings. It allows parents to pass their genes or traits to their children. This is important because it ensures that humans continue to exist. So again, it involves transferring genetic information from parent cells to new cells. This process requires the sperm from the male and the egg from the female. The fertilization is the process of union of a male sperm and female ovum to produce a fertilized egg or zygote. So reproduction requires sperm from the male and egg from the female. Fertilization is their union to form a zygote. So in humans, reproduction needs two special cells, the sperm cell from the male and the egg cell or ovum from the female. When the sperm meets and joins the egg, this process is called fertilization. After fertilization, a new cell is formed. This new cell is called a zygote, which is the beginning of a new life. When fertilization occurs, the zygote will possess 46 chromosomes, an ovum carrying 23 chromosomes and the sperm carrying 23. The zygote has 46 chromosomes, 23 from egg and 23 from sperm. When fertilization happens, the sperm and egg combine their chromosomes. When they join together, the zygote will have a total of 46 chromosomes. These chromosomes carry the baby's genetic information, such as eye color, hair type, and other traits. So let us now define what is reproductive system. So the reproductive system is a group of organs and glands in the human body that work together to produce, transport, and nourish sex cells. sperm in males and egg cells in females, regulate reproductive hormones, and enable reproduction. The reproductive system is a group of body parts that work together to help humans reproduce. It produces special cells called, once again, sperm in males and egg cells in females. These cells are needed to create a new life. The reproductive system also makes hormones that control growth, development, and reproductive processes. It helps transport these cells, and in females, it supports pregnancy and the development of the baby. So the reproductive system has several important functions. First, it produces sex cells. In males, it produces sperm cells. In females, it produces egg cells, also called ova. These cells are necessary for reproduction. Second, it produces and regulates hormones. Hormones such as testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone control growth, puberty, and reproductive processes in the body. Third, it enables fertilization. This means it allows the sperm and egg to unite, which is the beginning of a new life. Fourth, in females, it supports pregnancy. It provides a safe place for the fertilized egg to grow and develop into a baby. So overall, the reproductive system ensures the continuation of the human species and makes reproduction and birth possible. The reproductive system is very important for several reasons. First, it ensures the continuation of the human species. Without reproduction, humans would not be able to survive as a population. Second, it plays a vital role in growth and development during puberty. The hormones produced by the reproductive system caused by physical and emotional changes as a person matures. Third, it helps regulate hormonal balance in the body. These hormones affect not only reproduction but also overall body functions. Fourth, it supports the formation of families and future generations. Through reproduction, new life is created. Lastly, it contributes to overall physical and reproductive health, which is important for a person's well-being.
So now let's proceed to the anatomy of biological males. So the gonads are the structure that produces gametes and reproductive hormones during reproduction. Biological males deliver gametes. They do not offer a site for fertilization or house a developing fetus. Therefore, our discussion of the structure involved in the reproductive system of biological males is somewhat shorter. So external genitalia. So external structures of biological males includes the penis and scrotum. Penis is a rod-like external organ through which the urethra passes to allow either urine or semen to exit the body. Semen is a mixture of sperm fluids and enzymes that help the sperm to travel safely within the vagina and uterus. Scrotum is a sac-like structure found posterior to the penis that holds the testes, which are the gonads. So basically from the word itself, external genitalia. So ito na yung mga external genitals or yung mga genital parts ng isang lalaki na visible to the naked eye. So hindi sila internally, so hindi sila sa loob ng katawan, which is basically external sila or sa labas. So it includes, so ito yung mga external structures which is the penis, scrotum, and also included din sa external genitalia ang testes. Even though yung testes is inside the scrotum or internal siya, hindi naman siya gaano or hindi naman talaga siya nasa loob ng katawan ng isang lalaki. So basically, visible pa din siya and nafe-feel pa din ng isang lalaki pag ginatouch niya yung scrotum kung nandun yung testes. So, nakahold siya or natatouch ng isang lalaki yung part ng testes. Kaya, rin siya, considered na external structure or external genital ng isang lalaki. So, penis. Penis is the male homologue of the clitoris, composed of erectile tissue that's capable of filling with blood and becoming more firm and rigid during arousal. Penis is considered an external structure, but like the clitoris, a substantial amount of the tissue of the penis is inside the body. Root is internal, and the shaft and glans are the portions of the penis visible externally. So penis, so basically equivalent siya ng or male homologue siya ng clitoris. So equivalent siya sa clitoris ng isang babae. So, composed din siya ng erectile tissue that's capable of filling with blood and becoming more firm and rigid during arousal. So, nagiging firm and rigid yung penis during sexual arousal. So, basically, the term firm and rigid, nagiging matigas and parang compared to its normal size, kung hindi siya nagiging firm and rigid, mas malaki siya or mas lumalaki siya, no? Ganon yung penis. So, it is an external structure. So, basically, penis is common sense na yun na penis is considered an external structure kasi nakikita naman siya natin sa labas or sa panlabas ng isang lalaki. So, katulad ng clitoris, so, substantial amount of the tissue of the penis is nasa loob rin ng katawan. So, the roots are internal and the shaft and glans are the portions of the penis. So, glans or shaft and glans, so yan yung mga portions na may portions of the penis na visible externally. Scrotum. So, testes are housed within a skin-covered, highly pigmented muscular sac called scrotum, which extends from the body behind the penis. This location is important in sperm production. The ideal temperature for making sperm, which occurs within the testes, is actually at 93.2 Fahrenheit or 34 Celsius. Since the body temperature is typically maintained at a slightly warmer temperature. So basically, scrotum. So it is also a very important, no? Even though ang function niya na or yung use niya is to cover the testes, or to become like a shell ng isang testes, it is also a very important part kasi ito yung nagme-maintain ng body, ito yung nagme-maintain ng temperature for the sperm production ng isang testes. So kumbaga pa, ito yung nagme-maintain ng 93.2 Fahrenheit or 34 Celsius sa isang testes. Kasi kung wala yung scrotum is hindi possible na ma-maintain ng katawan natin yung 93.2 Fahrenheit or ng katawan ng isang lalaki yung 93.2 Fahrenheit or 34 Celsius. So pag hindi na maintain yun is basically hindi makakaproduce ng sperm ng isang lalaki kasi yun yung kumbaga pa yun yung temperature na dapat meron dun sa testes para makaproduce siya ng sperm. So this location is important in sperm production. So yes, even though scrotum is just a sac-like structure ng para sa testes, it is a very important for sperm production kasi siya rin yung nagme-maintain ng temperature. So testes is the male gonads like the ovaries. They produce gametes, sperm, and hormones. The group of hormones made by the testes are the androgens, the most common which is testosterone. Paired testes are oval in shape and approximately 4 to 5 cm in length. So testes is also an equivalent of a female's ovary. Kasi without the testes it is not possible for a male to produce sperm and other hormones that is made only by the testes. So dalawa yung napoproduce na hormones ng testes, which is the first is the androgens, which is rare, and the most common, which is the testosterone. That is very crucial for making a fetus or paggawa ng bata. So ang paired testes ng isang lalaki ay oval in shape. So basically oval siya and it has an approximately 4 to 5 centimeters in length. So ganun kalaki yung isang testes ng lalaki. Ductus deferens or vas deferens is bundled together with blood vessels and nerves into a structure called spermatic cord. Each spermatic cord extends superiorly into the abdominal cavity through the inguinal canal in each the abdominal wall. From here, each ductus deferens curves around the sides of the bladder and into the prostate gland, a small gland approximately the size of a walnut located beneath the urinary bladder. the bulk of semen is produced by three critical accessory glands of the male reproductive system: the seminal vesicle, the prostate glands, and the bulboretal glands. So, vas deferens, basically it's bundled together with blood vessels. So, kumbaga pa, ang vas deferens is parang kasama siya ng blood vessels at saka mga nerves. And it is a structure and into a structure called spermatic cord, where each spermatic cord extends superiorly into the abdominal cavity through the inguinal wall, inguinal canal in each the abdominal wall. So from here, each ductus deferens curves around the sides. So basically sa side lang yung ductus deferens, sides of the bladder. So, nasa gilid siya ng mga bladder and into the prostate gland. So, yun yung vas deferens. So, basically, nasabi rin dito na yung the three critical accessory glands of the male reproductive system. So, the seminal vesicle and the prostate and the bulboretal gland. So, basically, they are also a very crucial part of the male reproductive system, kasi may binibigay rin sila na mga protection for the sperm to travel safely from the uterus of a female papunta dun sa egg cell na. So the first of the three is seminal vesicles. So seminal vesicles glands that contribute approximately 60% of the semen volume. So found superior to the prostate along the posterior border of the urinary bladder. Seminal vesicle fluids contains large amounts of fructose, which is used by the sperm mitochondria to generate ATP to allow movement through the female reproductive tract. So basically, seminal vesicle is a very important part of the male reproductive system, since nagbibigay siya ng large amount of fructose for the sperm, hindi lang sa sperm, which is used by the sperm and also the mitochondria to generate ATP, and for the sperm itself to allow movement through the female reproductive tract, because di naman possible na mabubuhay or kakayanin ng sperm lang yung doon sa inside the female reproductive tract. Without the help of the seminal vesicles, a sperm cannot move or cannot reach the uterus, or where kung saan man dapat pumunta yung sperm, is hindi niya ma-reach yung location na yun without the help of seminal vesicle that gives a large amount of fructose. So prostate gland sits anterior to the rectum at the base of the bladder, surrounding the prostatic urethra. So, portion of the urethra that runs within the prostate. So, yun yung prostatic urethra. So, formed of both muscular and glandular tissues, it excretes alkaline milky fluid to the passing semen that's critical to coagulate the semen following ejaculation. So, katulad nga nasabi dito, so the prostate gland, so ang use niya lang is it excretes, or ito na yung mga puti na fluid na sinasama ng prostate gland sa mga sperm, or to each of the sperm that passes, para that is critical to coagulate the semen. So basically yun lang yung binibigyan niya ng alkaline, or yung parang milky fluid na nakikita, or yung mga milky fluid na binibigay niya sa mga semen, para that is critical to coagulate. So binibigay niya lang to kapag nag-ejaculate yung isang lalaki. So basically, pag ejaculation, sinasama ng prostate mismo yung alkaline or yung milky fluid sa mga sperm. So yun. So the next is the bulboretal glands. So semen is made by two bulboretal glands, or in other term, the bulboretal glands are also known as Cowper's glands, that releases a thick salty fluid that lubricates the end of the urethra and the vagina. helps to clean urine, residues from the penile urethra. Fluid from these accessory glands is released during sexual arousal and shortly before the release of the semen. So basically, the bulbourethral glands is the bulbourethral glands releases, no, ito na yung parang thick salty fluid na texture na nire-release ng yung meron sa isang semen. So it lubricates, so parang um, binibigay niya, or parang ito na yung humahalo sa semen mismo. So yung tatlo na yon, yung binibigay ng seminal vesicle ng prostate gland, is parang dito na humahalo. So ito yung pinaka-last na nagbibigay and binibigay ng bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland also helps to clean urine residues from the penile urethra. So basically, ito yung mga yung urine residues, ito na yung parang mga tira-tirang ihi yata na kailangan linisin. So basically, bulbourethral glands helps, or ito yung ginagawa niya. So the fluid from these accessory glands is, so nire-release lang yung mga fluid dito kapag during the sexual arousal, or kapag i-release na shortly before releasing the semen. So semen is made by two bulbourethral glands again. So ang semen is ginagawa siya ng two bulbourethral glands. So ito yung use ng bulbourethral glands. And that's all.
So now, let us proceed to the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system is responsible for producing egg cell, secreting hormones, allowing fertilization, and supporting pregnancy and childbirth. And the female reproductive system is divided into two, which is the internal organs and the external organs. First, let us discuss the external organs of the female reproductive system, or the vulva. From the word external, it is the outer part of the female reproductive system, and it has mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, clitoris, vaginal opening, urethral opening, and the hymen. The mons pubis is located above the pubic bone at the front of the pelvic area, and the function of this is to protect the pubic bone and also reduce friction during physical activity and intercourse. Next is the urethral opening. It is a small opening below the clitoris and above the vaginal opening. It allows the urine to pass out of the body, or kung saan lumalabas ang ating ihi. The next is the labia minora, or the inner lips. It is located inside the labia majora, surrounding the vaginal and urethral opening. The function of this is to protect the vaginal and urethral opening, and it helps to maintain moisture and prevent infection. The next one is the clitoris. It is found at the top of the vulva, and it is the most sensitive part of the female reproductive organs because it is a highly sensitive organ responsible for sexual pleasure. It contains of many nerve endings. The next is the labia majora, or the outer lips. It is a two large folds of skin surrounding the other external organs. Ito na yung natatakpan ng ating pubic hair pag tayo nagdadalaga na. And the function of this is to protect the inner reproductive structures, contain sweat and oil glands to keep the area lubricated. The next is the hymen. It is a thin membrane partially covering the vaginal opening, and it protects the vaginal opening during childhood. It can stretch or tear due to physical activities or tampon use. The last one for the external organ is the vaginal opening. The vaginal opening is located below the urethral opening and between the labia minora. The function of this, it is the passage of the menstrual blood, and also siya yung nagre-receive ng sperm
during the intercourse. After the external organ of the female reproductive system, let us now proceed to the internal organ of the female reproductive system. The internal organ of the female reproductive system has a six parts, which is the fallopian tube, the ovary, uterus, cervix, and the vagina. First is the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is a two thin tubes located at the upper part of the uterus. Ang function nito is ito yung nagkikarry ng egg cell from the ovary to the uterus. And dito rin yung fertilization nangyayari. The next is the ovaries. Ovaries is a two small oval-shaped organs found on each side of the uterus. It is located near the ends of the fallopian tubes, and the function nito is produce egg cells, release an egg monthly during ovulation, and produce hormones, estrogen, and progesterone. The next one is the uterus or the womb. It is located in the pelvic cavity between the bladder, the front, and the rectum, the back. Ang function nito, it is where a fertilized egg implants and develops into a baby. The inner lining endometrium thickens each month and sheds during menstruation if pregnancy does not occur. Dito nabubuo yung baby na the next one is the vagina or yung ari ng babae. It is a muscular canal that extends from the cervix to the outside of the body. Ang function nito, it is the passageway for menstrual blood and ito na yung nagre-receive ng sperm cell during intercourse and serve as the birth canal during childbirth. The last internal organ of the female reproductive system is the cervix. The cervix is located at the lower narrow part of the uterus, connects the uterus to the vagina, and the function of this, it allows the menstrual blood to pass from the uterus to the vagina, and also nag-aalaw siya ng sperm to enter the uterus.
A pleasant day, everyone. I am Amirap Sanjaniak Madsamal from BSRT1C. So today, we're going to talk about the hormonal control of male reproductive systems. So what is the hormonal control male reproductive system? The male reproductive system doesn't just run on autopilot. It is governed by a sophisticated feedback loop involving the brain and the testes. This system, known as the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal or the HPG axis, ensures that the testosterone levels and sperm production remain steady. So let's start with the command center. The hypothalamus, everything starts in the brain. The hypothalamus acts as the thermostat for the reproductive system. GnRH, or the gonadotropin releasing hormone. This is the hypothalamus releases GnRH impulses. The trigger, this hormone travels a short distance to the anterior pituitary gland, signaling it to get to work. So, I guess you could call the head office or the hypothalamus the big boss in your brain. It monitors the body and decides when it's time to start production. It sends a work memo called the GnRH or gonadotropin releasing hormone. It is the master switch that turns the whole system on. Next is the regulators. The anterior pituitary one stimulated by GnRH. The pituitary gland secretes two primary gonadotropins into the bloodstream, luteinizing hormone or LH, often called the interstitial cell stimulating hormone in men. It targets the Leydig cells located between the seminiferous tubules in the testes. Follicle stimulating hormone or the FSH, this hormone targets the Sertoli cells located inside the seminiferous tubules, which are often called nurse cells because they support developing sperm. So the supervisors or pituitary gland located just below the brain. These glands receive the memo from the boss and sends out two specific supervisors to the factory floor. Supervisor luteinizing hormone, his job is to manage the fuel, which is the testosterone, and the supervisor FSH, or the follicle stimulating hormone. His job is to manage the machinery, which is the sperm production. Next is the local workers, also known as the testes. The hormones from the brain trigger specific biological responses within the male glands. The role of LH and testosterone: when LH binds to Leydig cells, they produce testosterone. This is the primary male sex hormone responsible for spermatogenesis, stimulating the production of sperm. Secondary sex characteristics: deep voice, facial hair, and muscle mass. Libido is when maintaining sexual drive. So, the workers or the testes, the supervisors arrive at the testes and tell two different types of cells what to do. It tells the Leydig cells when luteinizing hormone talks to them, they pump out testosterone. This keeps the body manly and provides the energy needed for sperm to grow. And for the Sertoli cells, when follicle stimulating hormone talks to them, they start building and nursing the actual sperm. The role of FSH and spermatogenesis makes the Sertoli cells receptive to testosterone by stimulating the production of androgen binding protein, or the ABP. Concentration: the ABP keeps testosterone levels high near the developing sperm cells. Support: without follicle stimulating hormone, sperm production will be inefficient and low volume. And lastly, the feedback loop. Keeping the balance, the body prevents hormone levels from getting too high through negative feedback. Think of it as a self-regulating circuit. High testosterone: when testosterone levels in the blood rise too high, the hormone travels back to the hypothalamus and pituitary to inhibit the release of GnRH and LH. Inhibin: as sperm production reaches its capacity, Sertoli cells release a hormone called inhibin. Inhibin specifically tells the pituitary to stop secreting FSH. So, the negative feedback or the safety sensors: the factory doesn't want to overproduce and waste energy. Testosterone. Testosterone sensor: when there is plenty of testosterone in the blood, it signals the head office to stop sending GnRH. And then inhibin is the full sign. When the sperm bins are full, the Sertoli cells send a hormone called inhibin back to the brain and say, "Hey, stop sending supervisor FSH for a while, we have enough sperm." And lastly, the cheat sheets are: GnRH, or also known as gonadotropin releasing hormone, is the start signal. And the luteinizing hormone, or the LH, is the testosterone signal. FSH, or follicle stimulating hormone, is the sperm making signal. The testosterone is the fuel and male traits. The inhibin is the I'm full signal. So that's the thing that to remember when hearing these abbreviations. So that's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Francine Alcaide. So now let's proceed to periods of fetal development. The fetal development is divided into 3 periods. First is the ovular period. Begins from fertilization and lasts up to 2 weeks. It is the first stage in pregnancy where the sperm and the egg joins, and this is also the preparation for development. Next is embryonic period. Starts from 3rd week following fertilization and lasts up to end of 7th week. This stage is where the baby's body starts to form. The brain, heart, spinal cord, arms, legs, eyes, and other organs. This is also where the heart starts to beat. And this stage is also the sensitive stage because any harm can affect organ formation. And lastly, fetal period. Begins from 8th week following fertilization until birth. In this stage, all the organs of the baby is getting bigger and the baby gains weight, moves and develops facial features until it's ready to be born. And that's all for my part. Thank you for listening.
Good day everyone, I am Rahela Shahina Embalabaran and I'm going to explain what is sequential development. So, sa sequential development, may tatlo siyang stages which are the germinal stage or ovulation stage. So, ang germinal stage is 1 to 2 weeks ito lang, 1 to 2 weeks lang ito siya. So, sa germinal stage, dito na nagsisimula yung fertilization and the zygote forms and implants in the uterus and cells start dividing rapidly. The next stage naman is the embryonic stage which is 3 to 8 weeks. Sa embryonic stage naman, dito na nagsisimula kung paano magbigin ang mga heart, brain, spinal, and cord. And also, heart start beating na rin kasi di ba, nagsisimula nang mag-form ang heart. So parang magsa-start na rin siya kung paano mag-work ang heart sa ating katawan or sa baby. And sa embryonic stage naman kasi sa embryonic stage is the most critical stage because organs are starting to form. So parang sa babies, dapat kailangan natin silang ingatan pag may mga makikita tayong mga buntis, so dapat ingatan natin sila kasi sa embryonic stage is parang mahihirapan na yung baby kung paano mag-form ng mga organs sa katawan nila kasi nga nasa loob pa lang sila ng sinapupunan ng mga nani nila. So dapat iniingatan natin sila, okay? So meron naman tayong the last stage which is the fetal stage, which is nagsisimula ito sa week 9 hanggang sa mga anak na yung nanay. So sa last stage natin is the embryo is now called fetus. And organs starting to grow and nagiging mature na siya para ready na siyang mailabas galing sa sinapupunan ng nanay. So dapat talaga nating ingatan ng mga baby. Pag may makita tayong mga nanay, so dapat ingatan natin sila. And the last one is the fetus start moving and responding to sounds. So, magre-respond na sila sa mga sound na nagmumula sa labas. Kasi nga, di ba, nasa loob sila ng sinapupunan. So, parang magre-respond na sila or like, makakakuha na sila ng makakaintindi na sila or makakarinig na sila ng mga sounds mula sa mga magulang or mga malalapit sa nanay. And sa last stage is dito na sila nagsa-start na mag-kick, like alam mo yung sa mga nanay like yung mga baby nila nagsa-start na magsumipa. So parang ang mga nanay is nagiging happy sila kasi malapit nang lumabas ang baby nila. So now, I'm gonna explain the human embryonic days at 18 days. So the first one is the amnion. Amnion, ito yung nagpo-protect ng embryo ng baby. The next one is the amniotic cavity. Ito naman yung nagkukusyon sa embryo. The third one is the yolk sac, early nutrition at blood formation. The fourth one is the embryonic dice, which means magiging katawan ng baby. Or parang ito na yung formation ng katawan ng mga babies. The next one is the primitive streak. Ito na yung bumubuo ng 3 germ layers. The next one is the notochord. Ito yung guide sa spine at CNS development. Ang ectoderm, ito yung balat at nervous system ng baby. The next one is the mesoderm. Mesoderm naman, ito yung mga muscles, bones, at blood. Endoderm, ito na yung digestive at respiratory system or respiratory organs. Body stalk, ito yung magiging umbilical cord ng baby. The next one is the allontonic duct or allontonic duct means bladder at umbilical structures ng mga babies. And the last one is the chorionic villi. So, the chorionic villi, it helps para palitan ng nutrients at oxygen or the placenta. Fetal period 17 to 20 weeks. Fetal movement felt, vernix and lanugo present, heartbeat heard, skin wrinkled. 21 to 24 weeks. Hair and Hair and lanugo increase, respond to sounds, organs start to functioning. 25 to 28 weeks, eyelids open, breathing movements, strongest suckling, survival, possible with support. 29 to 32 weeks, response to stimuli, nails with fingertips, more fat and muscle. 33 to 36 weeks, skin smooth, lanugo disappears, body rounded and tested descent. 37 to 40 weeks, organ fully mature, lanugo almost gone, fetus ready for birth. So, that's all everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye!